Hi guys, welcome to another episode of Living Life at LifeView. We are in the series of research. I am your co-host, Dr. Veronica Garcia.
And I'm Erin Gilligan, and we are here today with Lauren Bruss, one of the students who is doing research currently at the university.
Hi, Lauren.
Hi, guys. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for taking some time of your busy schedule as a chiropractic student to spend some time and share to us about what you're doing.
Yeah, I'm excited.
So, Lauren, tell us a little bit about yourself. Where do you come from? How did you start at chiropractic? What's your undergraduate background look like? All the good stuff.
Yeah, so I'm originally from Ohio. I lived in Tampa the last couple of years, and then decided to up and quit my job and start school in January of 2022. So yeah.
So just over a year.
Yeah.
Year and a half
already.
A year and a half and 2 weeks.
Oh,
Week 2.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
What was the inspiration for that leap? What drew you to these studies?
Yeah. So my background is in biomedical engineering, and I thought I always wanted to work as a vet and go to vet school. And then when I graduated, I changed my mind and ended up working for corporate IT as a project manager for about 7 years, which was really cool. Got to travel the world, got to do all kinds of things, but then it just kind of wasn't it. So kept looking for a new job, a new fit, and it ended up being chiropractic. So,
Wow.
yeah.
How did you learn about chiropractic?
I actually graduated with someone who graduated from Life a few years ago. So we went to undergrad together, and she got me into chiropractic for my plantar fasciitis, actually. And she sent me there, and I've been hooked ever since. It's been probably 10 plus years. So
It's fantastic.
yeah.
Was research part of this journey at all when you were in undergrad and searching? Did research come up, or is that a new thing since your enrollment here at Life?
I did it for a short time in undergrad, actually. Okay. Yeah. At Ohio State, they had a biomechanics research lab, and I worked with them for maybe about 6 months, just towards the end of my graduation, just getting close to the end, and started there. And then, just kind of came back up in my field recently. So
Yeah.
yeah.
So what was the main question that you had that sparked this round of research?
I don't know if it was a question so much as just a great opportunity. So my background, I'm a data person. I like data. I like numbers and that kind of thing. And it was an opportunity to kind of apply that background to sharing the value of chiropractic with the world. So kind of mixing those two things.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great. Yeah.
So what is your research in?
My research has to do with pregnancy outcomes, so birth outcomes. I'm actually working with Dr. Pamela Stone in Kennesaw, who has a diplomat in pediatrics. And she has been collecting data on her patients she's had this office much longer, I'm sure, but for the last 7 years, she's been collecting data on these patients. And what we're looking at is basically, how does chiropractic help support your birth outcome? So did you have a cesarean section? Did you have a home birth? Did you have a natural birth at the hospital? And what we're basically doing is comparing the average of some of the states throughout the U.S. to the averages that we see in her office. And how does chiropractic help reduce the number of cesarean sections? So yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Fantastic. And so you're on the RISE scholarship, is that correct?
Yes. Yeah.
So how long have you been doing the study yourself? How long have you been involved in this particular project?
The last 3 quarters. Yeah. So, including this one. So 6 or 7 months, probably.
So it's still pretty new.
Pretty new. Yeah.
And I have a question. How did you get involved with Dr. Stone? How did that relationship start?
That's hilarious. Some things just kind of fall into place. So I actually saw a Facebook job posting for her for a CA last year, and I ended up working for her as a CA. And then I randomly attended, I don't even remember what the presentation was, but I randomly attended some research, something or other. And I caught up with Dr. Kwan afterwards, and I was like, hey, I might be interested in this. Like, can we chat a little bit more? When we chatted, I mentioned that I worked for Dr. Pam, and she was like, hey, by the way, do you know that she's been collecting all this data and there might be an opportunity right there for you? I was like, no, I had no idea. So it's so funny how it worked out, actually. Yeah. I was her CA, and then she had the data and just kind of worked.
And Dr. Kwan is your advisor.
Yes,
Right?
yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
What stage in the process are you within the research study?
Yeah, so I have collected pretty much all of the data already. We did an initial report basically on the cesarean section numbers. So it's actually kind of crazy. The average in the state of Georgia for cesareans is over 31%. My reaction too. So that's almost a third of the population is having C-sections. Crazy. And what we found is in her office, at least, under 20% are having cesareans. So a good reduction.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's quite a jump. It's a beautiful, I guess, perspective to have also, because as a chiropractor who does see a lot of pregnant individuals coming in, it's very interesting because you already have determined what that outcome is going to be. To my experience with a lot of these patients, like, oh, I already know I'm going to have a C-section. Yeah. I'm like, well, let's talk about this for a second. Why? Right. And it's a beautiful conversation when they're like, oh no, this is just the way that it is. Right. And to have that conversation, to understand that there's other options and that there's other safe options. Right. It's really beautiful that you are also helping spearhead into how chiropractic can be part of that safety outcome into a pregnancy and delivery looks like. So that's awesome. Yeah. Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And I understand you did have a poster. Talk to me. I am not as well versed in research into this realm, but talk to me a little bit about that.
Yeah. So we had a research symposium, and I basically just put a poster together that kind of showed the data, what we're seeing so far. Basically just an overview of, hey, this is the office we're working with. These are the outcomes we're looking at. So C-section, home birth, whether they had an epidural or not, things like that. And yeah, it was great. We got to have students come through and chat with them, and it was actually really nice, the experience overall, because a lot of times students, at least for myself, we get so stuck in, okay, I'm a student, and you kind of forget why you're here. So it's nice to have the conversations with students to like, hey, let's pick our heads up and like, look at this cool experience that all these women are having, and how chiropractic is supporting them. And we can see this now, like actively as part of it. So it was just kind of nice to share the experience and share what we're finding with some of the students. So
yeah. So this is at the research symposium, the research and scholarly activity symposium that we had last quarter.
Yeah.
And there were about 15 participants, and we had 15 different posters set up around Socrates Cafe. So it was, I think, very casual, and people just came and drifted in on their off time to see the posters and have a little conversation about the different presentations. And Lauren had one of them there. And so it was that experience. Do you think it generated more conversation about the research community that we can have here amongst the students? Do you think there was like interest peaked there? Or?
I hope so. I think so. I mean, it was really nice to have the conversation, and I really appreciated the interest level of the people coming through too. I mean, they genuinely seemed interested. So I appreciated that. And hopefully, it sparked a little something for them too.
How often does this happen on campus?
Yeah, so this is an annual thing. So it's in the spring quarter we have it. And this year was actually only the second annual symposium.
Okay.
So we're hoping to do it more. And it's supposed to kind of replicate for the students here something like the ACC RAC and different conferences like that. So we're really trying to encourage students and faculty and staff to go out and share the research at these types of conferences. So hopefully the symposium does a small part in kind of exposing students to what it's like to be out there. So yeah. Will you present again at future conferences if outside the symposium, like elsewhere? Would that be something you'd be interested in with your research?
I would be interested. Yeah. Like I said, I have fun talking about it. So it's exciting. Nothing at the moment, but potentially in the future, that'd be great.
Yeah, that's great. And I would love to continue the conversation about where to find conferences like that, and the local ones, and also the CETO. There's a lot to do, professional development grants and things like that, and student travel awards, get students to go to these conferences and reimburse them to a certain extent. And I think that's something we could definitely do more of, and I think that's people like you could definitely get out there and spread the message.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
That's exciting. I love that. That was definitely my next question is would you do it on a bigger, broader area? And that's awesome. I'm really excited for that outcome. What's the next steps for the research study right now?
Yeah. So the next step is finalizing the data that we already have, but actually we're looking at changing the information that we're capturing going forward. So it's been great capturing all this data all this time, but now we're looking at something a little bit more detailed. So, for example, that 20% that are still having cesarean sections, well, why are you having them? So did you choose that? What was it, an emergency? And what was the emergency? So looking at that a little bit more. And then also fetal malposition. So if you have a breech baby or a transverse baby, we've been capturing so far if they had a breech posterior or transverse, but what we haven't been capturing is if the baby returned to their normal position. So going forward, we want to capture that so we can see, hey, did chiropractic actually help the baby flip from being breached and go back to normal or whatever it is? So yeah, I'm excited to see the data starting 2023 and start analyzing that, it's pretty much next. We haven't looked at that yet. So
yeah.
That's really exciting. That's more detailed. I'm here like, I want to read all this.
Questions coming up and you keep attacking them, and it's just great. Do you have a timeline? Do you have an end date? Does this end with graduation, or is this beyond graduation? I know it's kind of far away.
Yeah. Oh gosh, it is far away still.
It'll go by in the blink of an eye. Trust.
Yeah. 2 years. Yeah. End date, I'm not so sure yet.
Sure.
I want to wrap up the older data analysis here this quarter. And then 2023, we'll do the whole year with this additional data and see how many patients come through, how accurate we've been, and then decide, do we want to continue that for 2024? Do we want to stop with just 2023, use that data and do an analysis? So
kind of reassess, do an audit of it.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Yeah.
Is a research and a survey style or format? How are you collecting the data, better said? Yeah,
so we're just collecting it as everybody has their baby. So basically, we get their information. We talk to them whenever they're in the office next after they give birth, and then we just get the information from there. What happened? Like we typically know of somebody's breech ahead of time, but then what did it end up being? Did you end up going to the hospital? Did you end up doing your home birth that you wanted? Whatever it is, and we just get that information then. And then what I go back and do is I go look and see, well, how many adjustments did this person have? And what was the frequency? Did they come in 3 times a week? Did they come in once a week? Did they come in their whole pregnancy? Things like that. So. Yeah.
That's so interesting. I'm excited. This is as like sparkling so many questions in my brain from is this, can we replicate? Can we add other offices?
Yes.
Can we do this? Yes. Can we do that? Like
we can.
This is
scalability.
Yes, it is so interesting. I'm excited to see the results and to already have, data that backs up what we already know.
Yes.
Chiropractic works. Whether you like it or not, it just works.
Yes.
So giving numbers to it, I think is really important. That's really exciting. Congratulations.
Thank you.
It's really awesome.
It's been a lot of fun.
That's great.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for spending some time with us. I hope that it continues to grow. And I love that it's getting more specific, more detailed. And it will continue to change the paradigm of pregnancy, chiropractic, and delivery. I'm excited for those changes for you also in your career. It is awesome that you're starting so early on with such a huge project. So congratulations.
Thank you. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Lauren.
Thank you, guys.
Well, thank you for being here with us today. I hope to see you soon. We hope to bring you back. Maybe, who knows, year and a half, 2 years from now, see where this is going.
Sequel.
Sounds great. Yeah, part 2.
Sequel.
Blockbuster.
Yeah.
Alrighty, guys. Thank you so much for spending another day with us on Living Life, I Life You. And remember, this is your special series on research. Have a beautiful day.